You know that moment, the casual chat by the coffee machine that suddenly kind of takes a turn? Well, what if I told you that seemingly harmless chatter is actually one of the biggest drains on your team's success? Okay, take a look at this number, 42%. Right now, it's just a number on a screen, but it tells a massive story about just how widespread and, yeah, damaging workplace gossip really is. It's a figure that should make any of us sit up and pay attention. And here's the full story behind that number. A HubSpot survey found that a whopping 42% of employees say gossip is a top productivity killer. You know what the only thing that beats it is? Our cell phones. So let's be clear, this isn't just some minor annoyance. We're talking about a huge barrier to getting real work done, and it has actual measurable costs. Which brings us right here. We need to look beyond just the time wasted and uncover the hidden costs of all this talk. Because when simple chatter turns into gossip, it doesn't just eat up minutes on the clock. It erodes trust, it crushes morale, and it can seriously hurt the performance of an entire team. So before we can tackle it, we gotta be clear on what we're even talking about. This slide perfectly draws the line between a harmless chat and toxic gossip. You know, if it's negative, speculative, or feels kind of secretive, yeah, that's gossip. A fantastic rule of thumb is to just ask yourself this one simple question. Would I say this if the person walked into the room right now? If the answer is yes, you're probably in the clear. If not, well, you know. So why does gossip even take hold in the first place? It's not as random as you might think. There's actually a science to it. Let's get into the engine room, so to speak, and look at the 4 key ingredients that really fuel any rumor. And here they are. This framework from Dr. John Daly is brilliant. Think of these 4 things like the legs of a table. For a rumor to actually stand up and not just fall apart, you need all 4. Anxiety in the listener, a source they find credible, a topic that feels important to them, and, this is the big one, an environment full of ambiguity and uncertainty. See, when people are anxious and they don't have clear information, they'll just fill in the blanks themselves. And this right here, this is the crucial point, the real aha moment from all the research. You don't have to solve everything at once. If you can eliminate just one of these 4 factors, if you can get any single one of them to 0, the entire rumor just dissipates. It falls apart. Take away the ambiguity or question the credibility of the source, and boom, the gossip loses all its power. That's an incredibly useful thing to know. All right, so knowing the theory is great, but what do you actually do in the moment? You know, when someone tries to pull you into a gossip session right there at your desk, that brings us to the playbook. Here are some concrete, actionable strategies you can start using like today. Here are 3 super simple, non-confrontational ways to shut this down. First, just redirect the conversation to something else. Easy. Second, just be busy. Use your body language to signal you're not interested. And third, this one's great. Just compliment the person they're talking about. It completely neutralizes the negativity. Okay, but sometimes you need to be a little more direct. This is what you'd call a soft boundary. It's polite, right? It's not accusatory at all, but it is crystal clear. You're just stating how you feel without blaming them, and then you steer the conversation somewhere else. It's respectful, but also really firm. And then, for those times when subtlety just isn't cutting it, there's the hard boundary. This script is powerful because you're establishing a personal rule. You're not just saying no to this one conversation, you're setting a standard for every single interaction after this. You do this once or twice, and trust me, people will learn you're not the person to bring gossip to. Now, all these individual tactics are essential for sure, but the real solution? It's bigger than any one person. To truly stop gossip for good, you have to build a workplace culture where it simply can't survive. So how on earth do you do that? Well, let's circle back to those 4 ingredients of a rumor. While a leader can't really control an employee's personal anxiety or who they think is credible, they have immense, almost total power over one factor: ambiguity. Reducing uncertainty is the single most effective thing a leader can do to stop rumors before they even get started. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the workplace. If leadership doesn't provide clear, consistent, honest information, employees will create their own stories to fill that void. The absolute best defense against a rumor is the truth. So what does a gossip-proof culture actually look like? Well, it's really built on these 4 pillars, and each one is a direct antidote to those ingredients of a rumor we talked about. Trust and psychological safety, That means people feel safe to ask questions, which reduces ambiguity. A sense of belonging makes people feel like they're on the same team, so they're less likely to try and tear each other down. Open communication is the literal opposite of ambiguity. And finally, purpose gives everyone a shared why, which makes all the petty stuff seem, well, petty. When you build these foundations, you're not just hoping gossip goes away, you're creating an environment where it just can't grow. So we'll end with this thought. This isn't just a problem to be solved, it's an opportunity. Every single moment of silence or uncertainty at work is a chance to build trust, to share facts, to reinforce purpose, and to make your culture stronger. So the question isn't just how to stop gossip, but what positive, constructive communication will you use to fill that space instead?